Daredevil Born Again took an episode to give everyone a beat and feel their emotions out, for better and worse. Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and I don't think this episode was a bad episode by any means, but is it the high that everything else before this has been? No, certainly not. There were some good performances, but the conclusions to all the stories were kind of predictable, and that took away some of the tension that the episode was really trying to give you. That being said, I do think several of these plot lines are going to build up into some better episodes that are going to follow this, but this whole episode was a little bit of a slower moment overall for the season, and I think your mileage is going to vary on how much you really enjoy that. I've already seen some people be like, I didn't like this episode, and other people will be like, I liked this one. So it just kind of really depends on which of these plot lines were hitting you better and worse on that front, and just how you felt about where it all went. That being said, for me, I didn't really realize how much I missed Matt and Foggy's banter together until they showed that flashback sequence with them. I really enjoyed that, and I'm like, oh damn, it really does suck not to have Foggy Nelson. I was kind of prepared for how Born Again wasn't gonna have him and all that, but seeing them together again like that, I'm like, we should find a way to bring Foggy back. That would be great. I don't care if it's not in Daredevil's wheelhouse to resurrect a person like that. I want Foggy back just to see Matt and him go back and forth in their banter. I love that. The whole time in the hospital with Vanessa and Fisk, I didn't care for this one because it was pretty obvious to me that she was going to die. I thought for a minute maybe they were going to do a coma, but I'm like, no, she's recovering too fast, and that's going to end up just making Kingpin mad because she was this close to being back, and then now she's taken away again. So his hope was had. I missed you. That was a really good moment. That was a great performance from Vincent D'Onofrio. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, it was very obvious that she was going to die to me. So I was like, this just kind of felt like a little bit of a waste there. The other thing stemming out of the hospital was what's going to happen with Daniel. Is he going to mess up in this critical moment for Kingpin? And he kind of did. He definitely did on that front. He told BB because he likes her, but she took advantage of that from him. Now he's probably going to cut her off and maybe be violent toward her in the future. But then we got the car ride with Buck, and we don't know enough about Buck to really figure out whether he's going to actually kill Daniel or if he's just initiating, because if you send a message to a guy like this and then you kill him, that's not really sending a message. But if it could be used as an example to send a message to someone else, but we never really got to see who that someone else would be. So I did think it was interesting that they spent so long making you wait on whether it was going to be Daniel dying or not before they actually showed it. And I was like, I enjoyed the performances, the back and forth between them. I would like that sequence. But that being said, it still felt kind of obvious that if Daniel's not going to try to actively escape or turn this on Buck somehow, that they aren't going to kill him, because they are clearly sending a message to Daniel this is your next step if you really want in on Kingpin's good side on that front. So I did enjoy what we got there. Matt not facing off with Bullseye, but him helping Matt saving Bullseye on that moment. I enjoyed their back and forth there. That being said, again, this is a moment where it really felt like the conclusion was very obvious, so it kind of took out the tension, because Daredevil has been on this path to really try to prove that he is a good man, that he wants to be, and defending his worst enemy, Bullseye, that is what a good man does, as Bullseye pointed out in the first season of Born Again. So I really enjoyed that he actually did bring him back in Karen's shocked face, but I do think it drug on a little bit there with how many different plot lines we had going on in this episode, and even though Wilson Bethel is killing it, and I kind of want to see him more than I do want to see Kingpin on that front, because I like him as a villain. But it was just I kind of wish we had just sped through that a little more on that front. Overall, again, I think this is kind of a mileage will vary episode, but I do think this is setting up a great set of next episodes on that front. I really do hope we start to see Jessica Jones, there we go, blanked out, because we saw in the trailer she shows up in a church, and we got to see him in the Clinton church as it was being raided by the ATVF or whatever, and I'm like, ooh, I'm curious how this is going to work for when she's going to enter the story on that front. So yeah, overall, I think this was an alright episode, but I do hope that it's going to lead into the episodes I think it's going to, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be a little more disappointed in this episode. It really depends on the next one, on where I'm going to rank this.